Hello, friend. We are with Dr. Leslie Beth Wish, as everybody calls her LB. LB, tell you a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a licensed psychotherapist, and my area of expertise is relationships, intimate relationships, love relationships. And of course, that extends over time to friendships and your family. My extra training is in family and marriage and counseling therapy. And my discoveries of doing my research, because it's very important to me that everything I say to you comes from solid research findings, my own as well as those of respected others. So I discovered when I was looking into what happens to women in love, that one of the most important things that happens to them that leads to making love missteps, which we all have made, including me. I mean, anyone who says that they, met their partner when they were 8 years old or 5 years old and never had a single problem or a single doubt is lying. Okay, so don't fall for that. So, but one of the main things I discovered that I did not expect, and that's the sign of good research development, is that you find things you could not have predicted, and you find connections between things you didn't expect, was that one of the culprits is that you haven't trained your intuition in anything, not just love, where to live, what to major in, what friends to choose, all kinds of decisions. If you cannot trust your intuitive instincts, then you are going to make more wrong decisions than you want to. So I did some research on training women. I worked mostly with women, and then they brought in their partners. But we started with women because they're more likely to say, I trusted my intuition. So I thought I'd go with the flow and then educate them and train them so they could tell any of their other partners or family members what they learned. So all the kinds of ways I help people is making sure that it starts first. Intuition is real. It's on this side of the brain. You can't always trust it. You can't always say to yourself, I'm going with my gut. And why do we say that? Because this part of your brain, and your whole brain in general, is very well connected to your tummy, to your gut instincts. That's where it comes from. But if you can't trust that feeling, particularly when it comes to love, then you need to rethink what's going wrong.
I love that. I love that. That's why you are my guru. That's why you are my favorite person to talk to, because I need help. So Valentine's Day is coming up, and with COVID and quarantine, it's a little harder to do it this year. So how can we be our own Valentines this year?
Well, the first thing you want to do, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
I said, since we're kind of our own Valentines this year.
Well, the first thing you want to do is to celebrate yourself, truly. That's very important. Feel good about you. And I want you to make a list of all the things that you do like about yourself. You know, on that show, The Bachelor and the Bachelorette, I want you to give yourself a rose.
Oh my God.
Very important. Give yourself a rose. And the way you do that is to make a list of all the things that you like about yourself, things that you've overcome. And it's okay to list things that you are improving on, whatever it is. So that's your first step.
I love that. Oh my God.
The second thing I want you to do is send yourself a Valentine card, congratulating yourself for some of the things that you have overcome, or some of the things that you really, really like about yourself. Put it in the mail so that you get a Valentine in the mail.
I think we all forget about when we were younger, and we all had those old school Valentines that we would give to other people.
Right.
That was the best part of Valentine's Day. Let's bring that back.
I'm glad you said that, because how long are you going to sit in front of your computer and do things virtually? Get a real Valentine.
And also, it's also good to bring back that old pen pal system. I've been writing letters now. I'm back in the 1800s, and I put pen to quill.
That's a very good suggestion. Make a list of people in your life who are important to you. And if you don't have time to send a snail mail Valentine, then do it virtually. There are all kinds of easy ways on the internet to find free greeting cards. And look them up, do a search and send some of your closest friends e-Valentines. Also send people you haven't been in touch with for a while that you want to reconnect with. And at the end of all your Valentine messages, ask them if they would like to connect on a Zoom call virtually, because just listening isn't as powerful as visual. And that's why I use props. You might forget my words, but you might remember to give yourself a rose.
I did win the Bachelor of myself.
Right, exactly. Give yourself one. Very important. The other things that you and I have talked about, people also struggle to say no, when to say yes to something, when to say no to something. And that is part of your training in trusting your intuitive yeses and nos. So I'm asking you, all your listeners and viewers, to think about, when have they done something, said yes to something or no to something that they regretted?
That's my whole life.
But everyone has that. Everybody has that. Anyone who says that, I have said many times on other podcasts, um, if I had to do over again, it's not that I haven't enjoyed and continue to enjoy helping people, but I think I would like to have helped them in another way, and I would have changed my major.
Oh my God, that's so smart. Oh my God, that's
Well,
so true. That's so true.
Well, you can major and help people. You can major in just about anything and still help people. And it's up to you whether that's an important component of wanting to help people when you choose your major. It's not just what your skills are, it's what's the value to the world, to others. Do you want to be remembered that you majored only in this? Or would you like to be known that you majored in this and did this, that used your skills, but also benefited others?
And also true, like I think we should stop focusing on what we majored in and what we can do with our knowledge.
Thank you. Yes, I would absolutely agree. So pay attention. I use this in a Instagram lately. Separate yourself from the bunches of people who want you to do things. Learn to say yes or no. Very hard. And in a relationship, even if it's very loving, sometimes you have to say, I need time for me, or time to think. Or when you go on a date and it didn't really work out at all very well, and your friends are pressuring you, you have a choice. You don't have to run with the bunches, okay? Think about yourself. And the more you do that, the better you get at being your own advocate or your own, Valentine. And it takes time. It will take literally a lifetime.
You mean I can't just instantly get good at it?
You can't, everything is, can you see this? It's kind of acrylic clear. It's a baby shoe. Everything is baby steps.
Oh my goodness.
Everything takes a lot of time to get there. And you're going to fall down, just like little babies do when they're learning to walk. So cut yourself some slack. But that doesn't mean making excuses for yourself.
That's true. That's very true. That's always a very fine line between like letting myself and like, oh no, this is like the excuses part. It sounds like
Definitely. And I'm glad you mentioned that too, because I would have forgotten to say, it reminds me of something I wanted to say. If you have a list to do of things that will benefit you, or things that you have to do and you don't like, the best way to start is, that I have found in other people's research and with my over 3,000 people in my studies, start by setting a 15-minute time limit at the most, 5 to 15 minutes. Do something you don't like or that is hard to do.
Yeah.
Or anxiety provoking.
Yeah, I do that to myself because if I have like 15 minutes, like I know it'll be over. I know it'll be over in 15 minutes.
And the reason that that's a good start is it kicks in your endorphins. You feel better about yourself. Then reward yourself. Give yourself a reward. you're the winner. Okay, is that right? Yep, that's right. Give yourself a reward for doing something that was difficult, and now go do something that's easy, important, and enjoyable. And after a while, a very short while usually, you'll begin to go back to the hard things, because there's something called the Zeigarnik effect. It's a very complex effect, but it's one of the components in it that really makes the most sense in terms of how you can use it in everyday life, is that once you've started something difficult, your brain wants you to complete it. So you want to go back. That's why I give you a 15-minute time limit at the most, because most tasks can't be completed in 15 or 10 minutes. So now you have got to go back and finish it. And these are ways to trick your brain.
That's very true. Also, like it's always good to remember like the task you keep putting off. When you do it, it doesn't take that long within that hour. Other things on my to-do list I'll just avoid for like no real reason. I'll just avoid them, and then I'll finally do it. It took 2 minutes. Like I avoided this for a month, and it took 2 whole minutes.
Well, you're not alone. So the other thing you can do, which is great to do on Valentine's Day, is call, but I like Zooming because it's words and visual,
Mm-hmm.
and it makes you feel less lonely.
It's
Just
really
talking
talking to
on
someone.
your phone, it's more real, don't you think?
Yeah, I can't talk on the phone. I can do Zoom, but if I talk on the phone, it's just too weird. It's like I'm talking to like the void.
And look how I feel in having your face here and having you in real time. I feel that we are friends, not just a voice on the phone.
Yes, no, definitely. You have eye contact. You have knowing people's verbal cues. When you're on the phone, you don't know what anybody's thinking. And some people have like different voices. They're sometimes monotone, so like you're overreading something. But when you're on like the phone, you're like, oh yeah, this is working.
That's great. That is a great way to say that. Yes, that's why I like Zooming your friends. And you can do the little tiles, invite a bunch of people as your friends, and celebrate saying something nice to each other on Valentine's Day. So
Yeah.
you create your own Valentine pool of support.
Yes, I love that. That's such a good thing. I think especially now in like COVID, I think it's more important to like have a community even though you can't like actually be physically with them. It's creating a quarantine, it's having like a little friendship bubbles.
Well, I think those are the main tips I want to give to our listeners and viewers so that they can have a Valentine's Day that makes them happy,
I
feel
think
good about themselves, and less alone.
I think those are wonderful tips. Thank you so much for sharing. I am like keeping a list of their perfectly for me because like I need to hear it. And thank you so much. It was so good having you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Have a very happy Valentine's Day.
Have a very happy Valentine's Day.
To everyone, thank you.
Thank you.